You sit down to work on your goals, feeling excited and ready, but 20 minutes later, you're scrolling through your phone, waiting for motivation to strike. What if I told you that waiting for motivation is exactly why you're stuck? In this video, I'll share 5 science-backed systems that high performers use to take action without needing motivation, and how you can start using them today. I discovered this the hard way after wasting 2 years waiting to feel ready to start my projects. I'd watch motivational videos, pump myself up, and then do nothing when that feeling faded. The problem is, motivation is an emotion, and emotions are unreliable. Research from Stanford University found that motivation-dependent people complete only 12% of their goals, while system-dependent people complete 78%. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to build systems that work when motivation fails you. Let's dive in. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Your brain doesn't resist the actual work. It resists the idea of work. The 2-minute rule states that you should start any task by committing to just 2 minutes, not 2 hours, not until it's finished, just 2 minutes. Tell yourself, I'll write for 2 minutes, or I'll exercise for 2 minutes, and then you're free to stop. This concept comes from James Clear's research on behavioral psychology. Your brain's biggest enemy is something called activation energy, the mental effort required to start a task. A study from the University of Southern California found that 80% of procrastination happens in the first 3 minutes of task initiation. Once you overcome that initial resistance, your brain naturally wants to continue because of the Zeigarnik effect, our psychological need to complete what we've started. Think of it like pushing a car. Getting it moving is the hard part, but once it's rolling, momentum takes over. First, identify your biggest procrastination task right now. Second, reframe it as a 2-minute micro-task. Instead of write my report, it's write the title and first sentence. Third, set a visible timer for exactly 2 minutes where you can see it. Fourth, give yourself genuine permission to stop after 2 minutes. No guilt, no judgment. Here's the key most people miss. You're not trying to finish the task in 2 minutes. You're trying to break your brain's resistance pattern. For instance, instead of go to the gym for an hour, try put on workout clothes and do 5 jumping jacks. Most days you'll naturally continue past 2 minutes. But that's not all. This next one is crucial, and it's the difference between people who try and people who do. Implementation intentions are pre-planned behavioral responses using a simple formula. If X happens, then I will do Y. Instead of vague goals like I'll work out more, you create specific triggers. If it's 7 a.m. on Monday, then I will put on running shoes. This eliminates the need for motivation because you've automated the decision. Research from psychologist Peter Gollwitzer found that people who use implementation intentions are 2 to 3 times more likely to achieve their goals. Here's the fascinating science behind this. When you create an if-then plan, you're encoding a situational cue directly into your procedural memory, the same part of your brain that handles automatic behaviors like brushing your teeth. Your brain starts recognizing the if trigger and automatically initiates the then behavior without requiring willpower or motivation. It's like programming a computer with an automatic response. First, choose one goal you keep postponing. Second, identify the specific time and place where you'll act on it. Be ridiculously specific. Not in the morning, but at 6:30 a.m. in my kitchen. Third, write out your if-then statement using this exact formula. If specific time, location, trigger, then I will specific first action for specific duration. Fourth, post this statement somewhere visible. Your phone lock screen, bathroom mirror, or desk. Common mistake to avoid, making the then too big. Instead of then, I will write my book. Try then, I will open my laptop and write one sentence. For example, my personal rule is, if I pour my morning coffee, then I will immediately sit at my desk for 5 minutes with no phone. This removes 100% of the decision-making from the moment. Now let's talk about something even more powerful. Most people don't know this, but willpower is a limited resource that depletes throughout the day. Smart people don't rely on it. Environment design means structuring your physical space so that good behaviors become easy and bad behaviors become difficult. It's about creating friction for bad habits and removing friction for good ones. Instead of fighting your environment, you engineer it to work for you automatically. A groundbreaking study from Duke University revealed that 45% of our daily behaviors are habitual and triggered by environmental cues, not conscious decisions. Your environment is constantly sending signals to your brain about what to do next. Japanese culture has understood this for centuries with their concept of poka-yoke, mistake-proofing your environment. When your gym clothes are laid out on your bed, your brain receives a visual cue that lowers the activation energy for exercising. Conversely, when your phone is in another room, the friction of retrieving it gives your prefrontal cortex time to override the impulsive urge to check it. First, identify your target behavior for this week. Let's say it's reading more. Second, apply the 20-second rule. Make the good behavior 20 seconds easier and the bad behavior 20 seconds harder. Place a book on your pillow so you see it before bed, and put your TV remote in a drawer in another room. Third, use visual triggers strategically. Want to drink more water? Place a full water bottle on your desk before you start work. Want to stop snacking? Store junk food in opaque containers on high shelves. Here's a practical example. I wanted to practice guitar daily but kept forgetting. Instead of relying on motivation, I removed my guitar from its case and placed it on a stand next to my couch. Now, every time I sit down, I see it. My practice time went from once a week to 5 times a week, not because I became more motivated, but because I removed environmental friction. This brings me to the next secret. Here's where it gets interesting. Your brain treats external commitments completely differently than internal ones. Accountability architecture means creating external consequences for your actions, systems where you have to report your progress to someone else or face a real cost. This includes accountability partners, public commitments, financial stakes, or scheduled check-ins. It transforms abstract goals into social contracts your brain takes seriously. Research from the American Society of Training and Development found that you're 65% more likely to complete a goal if you commit to someone else, and 95% likely if you have a specific accountability appointment. This works because of social pain. Your brain's fear of disappointing others activates the same neural pathways as physical pain. It's a survival mechanism from our evolutionary past when being excluded from the tribe meant death. Additionally, making something public triggers consistency bias. Once you've stated your intention publicly, your ego demands you follow through to maintain your self-image. First, choose one goal you're serious about achieving in the next 30 days. Second, find an accountability partner. Someone who will check your progress weekly, not just cheer you on. Be specific. Will you text me every Sunday to ask if I wrote 1,000 words this week? Third, add stakes. Use apps like BeMinder or StickK to create financial consequences. You donate money to a cause you hate if you don't follow through. Fourth, make a public commitment on social media with a specific deadline and measurable outcome. Almond mistake, choosing an accountability partner who's too nice and lets you make excuses. You need someone who will call you out. For instance, I told my business partner I'd finish my course by March 1st, and if I didn't, I'd pay him $500. I finished on February 28th, not because I was motivated, but because I didn't want to lose $500 and look like a failure. Wait, there's more to this, Burr. His next one sounds backwards, but it's the secret weapon of high performers. Instead of scheduling work and fitting life around it, you schedule your rest, hobbies, and social time first, then fit work into what's left. This is called the anti-schedule, popularized by author Neil Fiore. You protect your personal time as fiercely as a business meeting, creating artificial deadlines that force productivity. Parkinson's law states that work expands to fill the time available for its completion. When you have all day to work, you'll procrastinate and take all day. But when you know you have only 2 hours before your scheduled guitar practice, your brain enters a focused state called time-boxed urgency. A study from the University of California found that artificial deadlines increase productivity by 40% and reduce perfectionism paralysis. Think of it like this. Students write entire papers the night before the deadline not because they're motivated, but because the constraint forces action. First, open your calendar right now, physical or digital. Second, block out your non-negotiable personal time for next week, gym sessions, dinner with family, hobby time, even rest periods. Mark these in a different color and treat them as unmovable. Third, look at what time remains and assign specific work blocks with clear outcomes. 9:11 a.m. Write report introduction rather than 9:11 a.m. Work on report. Fourth, when your work time ends, stop, even if you're not finished. This trains your brain to work intensely during designated periods. Here's the counterintuitive magic. You'll actually get more done working focused 4-hour blocks with protected rest than grinding 8 unfocused hours. For example, instead of trying to be productive all day, I block 9:11 a.m. and 2:04 p.m. for deep work, with my lunch break, workout, and evening completely protected. My output doubled because my brain knows work time is limited and precious. Now, you might be thinking, let's quickly review what we covered today. Number 1, the 2-minute rule. Start any task for just 2 minutes to break resistance. Number 2, implementation intentions. Use if-then statements to automate decisions. Number 3, environment design. Engineer your space to make good choices inevitable. Number 4, accountability architecture. Create external consequences that your brain takes seriously. Number 5, the anti-schedule. Protect your rest time first to create productive urgency. Remember, motivation is like weather. It comes and goes, and you can't control it. But systems work in sunshine and storms. You have everything you need to take action right now without waiting for the perfect feeling. The only difference between people who achieve their goals and people who don't isn't talent or willpower. It's having systems that work when motivation fails. Don't wait until Monday, or until you feel ready, or until the stars align. Start with just one system from this video today. Pick the 2-minute rule and try it with your most dreaded task. I promise you, 30 days from now, you'll look back and realize that this was the moment everything changed. Not because you became more motivated, but because you stopped needing motivation at all. If you found this helpful, hit that like button so more people can discover these systems. Subscribe for more science-backed self-improvement strategies that actually work. Drop a comment telling me which system you're trying first. I read every single one, and I want to hear your plan. And if you want to learn how to build unbreakable habits that stick, check out this video next where I break down the neuroscience of habit formation. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.